All right. Hey, how's it, everybody? It is right around 5 p.m. West Coast time. I am going to call it 2 p.m. Hawaii time, 8 p.m. on that there East Coast, and 7 p.m. for our Central Time folk. I am Mad Statter. This is Chatter with Statter, and we have got folks already waiting in the house. Let's see here. It looks like we have got Mama Sean on YouTube. She looks like she's number one here. And then Terry in Scotland coming in with a rating party of 5. Pinnell being one of those people, 42-month subscriber. Thank you so much, Pinnell. And let's see here. We've got Terry. We've got Bainy Bo saying, hugs, Mad Statter. E-Music coming in. I believe E-Music came in on her own. We've got Plasma Sponge coming in saying, who? And that's first time chatter. I don't know if you meant to say hello. I don't know if you meant to say, hey, you, or what you were meaning to say, Plasma Sponges, but good to see you here. Welcome to the chat. Pinnell saying aloha to my kitties in the house. And Plasma Sponges, of course, words are so hard sometimes. You meant to say hi. If I was looking at my keyboard, I could have made that connection real gosh darn quick, but I was not doing that. Anyway, we got Picolity in the house as well, 45-month subscriber. That is super awesome, you guys. Thank you for coming in, even though I was a little bit late today. Got distracted by doing some laundry, actually. At least it was distracted by doing some semi-useful stuff as opposed to spacing, because you get distracted looking at stuff online. Anyway, all right, so we've got everybody saying aloha to one another, and that is fantastic. Do we have a hype train that just happened? Okay, awesome. Somehow we are already going into this hype train mode. Level 1, brr, brr, choo choo. All right, well, while we're doing the level 1 hype train, why don't we get the party started? All right, so I have to ask, I think we all have to ask, where in the world is Picolity today? Alaska, Hawaii, Nevada, New York, Puerto Rico, Spain, India, Thailand, Korea, Japan. Where are you at, Picolity? Where are you at? Because honestly, y'all, you just think, did I just randomly pull these places out of my head? A little bit, but I think if you've hung out here long enough, you know that, yeah, she could be in any of those places. In fact, at this moment, she could possibly be in all of those places, because that's what she does. She's everywhere. She's everything, everywhere, all at once is what she is. Terry in Scotland, thank you so much for that 1,000 biddies. And, oh, it sounds like, though, Picolity is perhaps in the best place to be in the moment, which is sitting on my couch with the kitties today after a Costco trip, and going to Maui next week. There you go. See, of course. And Bainy Bo, you're booking a flight to Seattle, by the way. Well, for certain, let me know when you're going to be here, and perhaps we can meet up if timing works out. And if we can't meet up, I can still probably give you a couple different things and places to see. That's very exciting, Bainy Bo. I love that you are such a traveler. You went to, I think, Turkey not too long ago, which is super awesome. And if I remember correctly, you've been a lot of places, if I remember correctly. So that is super, super sweet, dude. Super stoked to hear that. And you're also going to Ibiza. Oh, wow. See, yes, you are. And Dubai. You are our Picolity is our international traveling woman, and Bainy Bo, you are our international traveling man. So we have eyes out in the various parts of the world for all sorts of places, all sorts of reasons, by all sorts of people. Not to mention we've got some Finnish people who just hang out here on their own, even though they're not here today, or maybe they are here today. And of course, we also have our very own Florida man who hangs out here quite a bit, usually in the background. And I don't know if Florida man is here, but Pussycat, if you are here, how's it? And let's see here. Yes, So Beatty-Bo, do you know plasma sponges? Because I don't recognize that name from before, and they were a first-time chatter, and so definitely good to know that you've got an in. But even if you didn't have an in here, my friend, we still like to be very friendly. And awesome e-music. I wondered if Rick and Darlene were going to be here, but I had a feeling they were still out living their best northern lake cabin life, which is exactly where they need to be right now. Perfect time of the year, perfect time of their lives to be doing all the things. And Terry, Beatty-Bo finally showed himself on Discord. He's a nice looking kid, and he's only 1 inch shorter than me. Well, that's good, because if he was too tall, he'd have to bend down too much when he's delivering the milk. And Puzzy Cat, our own Florida man, is here. Puzzy, just so you know, I haven't seen with my own 2 eyes Leo in a few days. However, signs of his presence are absolutely here. So I can honestly say that even though I haven't seen your boy, I do believe that your boy is safe and sound. And hey, good to see you, Scar. I know that you've got the longer name, and you know that I just call you Scar. Thank you so much for popping in today. What a lovely surprise. New faces and faces we don't see very often, and of course the regular faces as well. Another thing that's really great about today is I remembered to turn on the background music. And speaking of the background music, y'all, for those of you who've hung out here long enough, you know that this is Lono Music. All the music here pretty much is provided by Lono Music, and Lono Music is based out of Molokai. And for the most part, Lono Music only performs on Molokai. But that is going to change August 16th. He is going to be on the island of Oahu for 1 night and 1 night only at a place called Lanterns over on the west side of the island. Maili, I believe, is the neighborhood area, kind of near Waianae, kind of near Nanakuli. And I believe the tavern or the place that he's playing will and does take reservations. So if you are planning on being on Oahu, August 16th, I totally would go to the west side and catch a performance of Lono, because he doesn't leave Molokai. I don't know what kind of act of Congress happened to make him leave his own little island, but he absolutely doesn't go to Oahu very often. So I encourage you to take advantage of it when you can. And Pezzy Cat, sorry about my favorite artist, Ozzy. Yeah, you know what though, Pezzy? Honestly, when, for those of you who might not know, Ozzy Osbourne, I'm sure you mostly do at this point, Ozzy Osbourne passed away yesterday on July 22nd, which was just 2.5 weeks after his final show in Birmingham, England, which happened on July 5th. And his last show that happened on July 5th was heavily covered by the media, and chances are you've probably seen headlines and or snippets in your passing through your realm. Even mainstream news media covered this to a certain degree. And anyway, if you watched any portion of Ozzy's performances at that show, to me, it was clear the end was near. Obviously, no one could have anticipated just how near, but it really didn't come as much surprise when I heard. I will admit, when I first heard that it happened, I did have to double check just to make sure it wasn't an AI joke hoax, because the internet is full of those, and the time is right for that kind of talking and fake news going out about Ozzy. But alas, my research ended very quickly, and it was indeed true. And also, as Makola T wants to point out, for those of you into tattoos, Keone Nunez will be at the Honolulu tattoo exhibition August 1st through 3rd. Yeah, and I would highly recommend, if you are at all into tattoo culture and you're going to be there, would highly recommend going. I have never been to the Honolulu Tattoo Exposition, but I have been to the Seattle Tattoo Exposition many times, many years, And it is always an amazing experience. You get to see so many different types of tattoos, so many different types of artists. You get to watch tattoo. If you've never been in a tattoo shop and you really aren't sure how it happens, you get to watch tons of tattoos being done. It really is. I actually really enjoy going to the tattoo exhibitions because the tattoo machines buzzing in the background to me is a really soothing noise. Not that I've ever been able to fall asleep while I'm getting a tattoo, because anybody who says that they fall asleep while getting a tattoo is a big liar. But I can say that the buzz of the machine is very soothing and meditative, and does, for me, help me relax into the pain, so as it were. And exactly, Terry, Ozzy is not in pain anymore. And yeah, exactly. And have you seen that many cool tributes to Ozzy from various groups performing Crazy Train in his memory? No, I haven't, but I'm sure we're going to see a lot of them. And what I can say, though, is even though he's quote-unquote just another rock star, I think it's very clear amongst the world perception that he's more than just another rock star. So much so that local news broadcasts are literally filming videos about how their neighborhoods are dealing with Ozzy, the passing of the news, or the news of his passing. And I grabbed this clip from our local news from just yesterday. So when I say that the local news is literally doing news pieces on them, here is one. However, this same news station, and this is only one of our 4 news stations, this same news station also had 3 other segments about Ozzy and his passing as well. This one, however, is to me hits closest to home. Easy Street Records is a iconic record store in West Seattle that has been around literally for generations. The current owner took over the operations from his parents. This particular record store has a cafe in it. It has a Ticketmaster outlet. And back in the day when I was bored, I used to go upstairs to their used record collection and just alphabetize everything for fun. Because that's what a mad statter would do. But anyway, here we are with the local tribute to Ozzy Osbourne from our Seattle King 5 network. And by the way, DJ Spook, aloha to you.
At Easy Street Records,
This one right here, 1975.
the perfect album is in the eye of the beholder. On this day, many gravitate to this section.
It's just a great legendary performer.
This is Sam Hangst.
Really set the standard for
He's a huge Ozzy Osbourne fan.
stage presence, and
He flips through the vinyl looking to strike the perfect chord.
very sad that he's gone. I'm glad we squeezed one last great show out of him, though.
Plenty to choose from between Ozzy and Black Sabbath. Music that inspired generations of fans
I saw the 97 reunion tour. Yeah.
and musicians.
The influence that he has on Seattle and Seattle music is massive.
Shop owner Matt Vaughn, who's a bit of a historian on these things, says many of the great Seattle rockers who broke through in the 90s described Ozzy as a pioneer.
We have a mural of Chris Cornell here on the side of the building, and he would say that was one of his greatest influences, one of his greatest singers that he aspired to be.
I do think this is a place.
Maria Rydell moved to the States from Mexico City 10 years ago.
So good.
Music was at the center of her relationship with her dad.
It was one of those things that we had in common, the love for Black Sabbath and Ozzy Osbourne.
Her father died last year.
It's kind of hard because I know that he would be the one person I could nerd about on the phone and cry.
Generations of fans
R.I.P.
in mourning.
Truly heartbreaking. That last performance of Mama, I'm Coming Home really brought tears to my eyes.
A fitting end to a legendary, sometimes controversial life.
I think this is the one.
No surprise, Ozzy and Black Sabbath records certainly a big hit throughout the day. In Seattle, Jim Nelson, King 5 News.
So there you have it. It's a big deal in Seattle, and I think it is also a big deal in other places than Seattle. Birmingham, of course, where Ozzy was from. But you know, like all of y'all are saying, the internet is blowing up with Ozzy tributes right now, and like I said, you know, I've said this before, I'll say it again. He really did help. Black Sabbath created a whole new genre of music, i.e., heavy metal, and I know, and what I'm about to say is gonna probably make a lot of people angry, but I feel like Ozzy's presence in rock music is more important and iconic than Mick Jagger. I don't think that we're gonna see as much of a outpouring of. I think if and when Mick Jagger dies, yes, I choose if. He and Keith, I think, are never gonna die, but if and when they die, I actually don't think there's going to be quite as much worldwide grief and tributes outpouring. I am perfectly willing to be proven wrong. I'm not asking the universe to prove me wrong right now. I'm not calling for the death of either of those people. Like I said, if they die. But that's my gut instinct, honestly, because Pussycat, he changed the course of music. And Picola T, absolutely. And how the album browsing dude was holding his comfort cup of coffee, so Seattle. Not only that comfort cup of coffee, did you hear what I said? They have a cafe. I'm sure he bought that cup of coffee at the record store. In fact, I know he did, because that's the kind of cups they serve the coffee in at that record store. So yes, did I just say what I just said? I did. Which is, we've got a record store in Seattle that serves coffee, and it's got Chris Cornell painted on the outside. Can we be any more of a stereotype of ourselves? I mean, come on. And let's see here. Terry, you saw an article not long ago that suggested Parkinson's starts in the gut. Actually, Terry, they're starting to realize the brain-gut connection more and more. They're starting to realize that the stomach is actually sort of an auxiliary product of the brain. You know, they're really literally connected. So I'm not at all surprised. Of course, they're starting to find out so much about the microbe, the gut microbe, and the biomes, etc., and how they affect moods, etc., etc. I'm not at all surprised that they're suggesting that there's evidence pointing towards the gut health being something in the gut is connected, basically, is what I'm trying to say. And let's see here. Mick seems so old. I suspect we won't be as surprised when he eventually passes. True, Picola T. Although, like I said, if you watched that Ozzy show on July 5th, it was painfully obvious how close to death's door. To me, I'm not trying to be morbid, but I just saw death in his face when I saw his performance. The weakness in his eyes. He didn't look like he was long for this world to me. I wrote it off because, it's taking all of his strength, etc., etc. But the reality is, I saw it from the second I saw that first "Mama, I'm Coming Home" clip. It seemed pretty obvious to me that he was not long for this world. And I remember when John Lennon was killed, I was in a bar lounge, and when the worker looked just like John came in to tell me and when a worker who looked just like Lennon came in to tell me that he was shot, that would have been a little bit weird, Pussycat. That reminds me, though, a couple years after John Lennon's passing, Julian Lennon came out with a song, Much Too Late for Goodbyes. And I don't know if you are familiar with the song Much Too Late for Goodbyes, but Julian Lennon sounds remarkably like his father in that song. And my mom didn't know that Julian Lennon was a musician or whatever, and so she walked downstairs and was in the other room, but she heard that song on the TV. The video was on, and she heard that song. She came in that room looking like a ghost. She had seen a ghost. She was just like, who is that? Is that John Lennon? You know, and then she looked at the video, and Julian, as I'm sure you know, looks an awful lot like John as well. And she didn't understand what she was looking at. She was just like, but he's dead. How is this song? How is this video? And so I had to explain, oh, it's his son. It's his son, Mom. It's his son. It's his son. It's okay. It's not a ghost coming in from the TV. And in matters of guitar, Jimmy Page is God. Yeah, Jimmy Page is pretty gosh darn good. But, you know, I have to say, oh, now I feel like the worst rocker girl in the world. Who's the bass player for Led Zeppelin? Bass player for Led Zeppelin. Come on, somebody, anybody. Anyway, the bass player for Led Zeppelin, he is really the one. To me, he's the unsung hero of that band. His bass lines are John Paul Jones. Thank you. That was about 18 demerits on my rocker girl cred right there, not knowing John Paul Jones. Yeah, exactly. Where's Michael Anthony Smith when we need him? Yeah, exactly. Anyway, John Paul Jones to me with his bass lines, as much as I am not dismissing Robert Plant nor Jimmy Page's talents, but that bass player, I feel like, never really... Those two outshone him so much, and I think he's equally shiny, I guess. His bass lines are the flippin' bomb. And, Pinnell, I saw Clapton once in concert. He was so stoned that he kept wandering off stage for several minutes. Oops, he got confused. No, go back. You're not done yet. Yeah, there you go. Let's see here. So, okay, so, oh, wait, Mariana, good to see you. Happy Wednesday. And let's see here. Piccolti, I'm on about the music festival. Tomorrowland. Bainy Bo, is that the music festival that was supposed to happen in India and a big tragedy happened? Or am I not talking about what you're talking about? Or am I just confused? I feel like all of the above is probably the answer. Yeah, John Bonham could beat them drums too. Absolutely. I never got a chance to see John Bonham live, but I did get a chance to see his son live. His son, at one point before he went and rejoined the Led Zeppelin reunion gigs, his son had a band, or maybe still does, called Bonham. And boy, howdy, man. I don't know if it's just genetic. I don't know if it's because he had such a legacy to live up to, but that boy can pound those drums too. I mean, full sound, no holds barred. Yeah, he was a big room drummer. He was a great drummer, a great band actually. I had a really great time at that show. The Colt, Bonham, and Dangerous Toys. It's my sister's first concert when she was 12 years old. Her next concert was New Kids on the Block, but you know, hey, you gotta start somewhere, right? Anyway, yeah, Play No Quarter. It's all John Paul. Yeah, there's... Exactly, dude. John Paul is an amazing bass player. You cannot deny it. And oh no, Piccola T, you were shamed into giving respect for John Mayer after seeing him live this spring. Oh, I hate it when that happens. Yeah, because here's the deal. Really, I judge a performer by their live performances way more heavily than, I don't know if that's grammatically correct, but more heavily than their albums. Because, albums, they can do anything to make your album sound good. But if you can't carry that through live, then you're just nothing. And so, to have a performer who I just dislike and then hear them live and it's like, oh, that's actually really good. Oof, yeah, yep, I get it. I was shamed into giving respect for John Mayer. Note to self, don't go to a John Mayer show or you will be forced to admit you might like him. All right, there we go. Yeah, used to make fun of his repetitive song lyrics, but have to admit he's a dang excellent guitarist. Exactly. Yeah, and that is, I assumed that's what you were referring to was his guitar prowess, because I have heard he is a really good guitar player. And I do have a soft spot in my heart for really good guitar players, so... But speaking of really good guitar players, we are going to revert back to the original topic, which is Ozzy. And for those of you who don't know, I've seen Ozzy numerous times. The very last time I saw him, though, was one of my favorite times because I got to teach two young rocker dudes how to sneak into the pit without their tickets properly. That's right, I was a bad grown-up. I put those kids into the pit. They wanted to go so bad, but security was blocking their way. And so I, as a veteran concert goer, knew a lot of little ways to get past security. Hey, Elaine, good to see you. And so I was standing. I didn't want to go up front of the pit. I was just standing as far up to it until you had to have expensive tickets. So I'm just, right there at the edge or whatever, but I could see these kids, they just want to go in. And when I say kids, I mean kids, like 12 years old, 14 at the most. They are kids. They're in their little Aussie t-shirts, they're young, and, I love to see young kids into the new, or into old school metal and guitar rock. So they're just sort of like, how can I sneak, So finally, like, the security got distracted. So I just shoved one, and the kid wasn't even paying attention. I was paying attention because I knew what to pay attention for. So I just shoved this one kid. I was like, he's not looking, go right now, poof. And I just like shoved him in, and he all just sort of is confused, but then he knows what to do, and he runs into the thing. And the security guard didn't really know what hit him. They're like, wait, did somebody just get past? And so they were a little confused, which is exactly how I wanted to keep him. So then his buddies, they're like, what happened to my friend? And so I was like, don't worry, dude, I'll get you in too, I think I said. And so eventually, same thing, boom. I hope they found each other at the end of the night. I don't know. That's not really my problem, though. But at the end of the night, what I can tell you, though, is I didn't see them because I was busy stealing beer. Because, and you guys have heard this story before, but I'm going to tell it again. There's beer vendors at concert clubs, and after a certain point, they stop selling beer because they don't want you to be too drunk to drive home. And so they remove the taps from the keg, and they close the beer stand. Now, these are freestanding beer stands, like with the keg and the sprout or the tap just on this little podium thing, randomly interspersed throughout the venue, next to a refrigerator. It's not like it's behind a counter or anything. Everything is free access. And so as we were leaving, I noticed that the kegs were still connected to the taps. And just because the tap pull handle wasn't on it doesn't mean they don't work. So I thought I'd go check. As it turned out, the beer was still flowing. So I filled people's water bottles as they left. I was the jolly beer-giving maiden. And then, hey, Kevin Stokes, yes, you did. And then, though, I noticed as I'm filling people's water jugs with beer, and that's taking a while, And then I noticed, wait, there's a sliding glass refrigerator door or cooler here, and it's not locked. So I then stopped pouring draft beer and opened the refrigerator and then just gave cans of beer to people as they were leaving, and that was much faster. That was much faster. The kick of it was there were security guards but 10 feet away from me watching me do the whole thing. However, the security guards were security for the Tacoma Dome, not the vendor that had just left their stuff there. And so they had no responsibility over what I was doing. They didn't even care. And so eventually my friend got tired of waiting for me being the beer Robin Hood. But yeah, I was just giving people like, have a nice drive home, have one for the road, have one. Yeah, I was not a responsible adult that night by any stretch of the imagination, but I also was not driving, so it didn't matter. And so, even though Ozzy Osbourne, I've seen him multiple times, and he's put on a wonderful show every time, my favorite Ozzy story actually has to do with stealing beer and pushing young gentlemen into the mosh pit of their dreams. So, so there we go. And yeah, Kevin, you came in just in time to hear me have a story about breaking the law. And C. Honda, I know you love this story, so I'm so glad you were here to catch it. But I can also tell you that this is not the only story I have about breaking the law. However, this story I tell freely because it's one of the more minor laws I have broken in my life. So, and I think the statute of limitations is done on that. And, holy crumb, your second boyfriend went to a bar where people even stole chairs. That is a little bit over the top. I know that Baneybo has a huge collection of stolen pint glasses, but stolen pint glasses are definitely easier to put in your pocket than a chair. Like, how do you steal a chair? I mean, I suppose if there's like a back patio that nobody's really paying attention to, you can throw it over the fence of the patio and get it on the outside, but I don't know how do you steal a chair? I mean, what? Okay. And you stole a cocktail pitcher last time you were at a nightclub. Was the cocktail pitcher empty? And was the pitcher glass or plastic? Because I would rather it be glass, but then again, glass pitchers are really heavy, so maybe it should be plastic. Was it plastic or glass? It's plastic, but it's branded. Oh, okay, so ultra rare. Got it. And here I am with a bowl I took from food service in college in 1976. Kevin, hey, shh, don't talk about that. The statute of limitations on bowls stolen in 1976 has not expired yet. There was a huge problem with stealing of bowls in the 70s, man. They're still going to be after you. You're marked. You're marked. I think you're probably on the top 11 FBI's most wanted. You probably can't get to the top 10 yet, but you're number 11, dude. They're after you with that bowl. That bowl, I don't even know what you're talking about. Better not talk about the bowl. Better not. And let's see here. And so, cause a fight in the bar, then sneak out with a chair, I guess. At least in that bar. Well, clearly there was a method. And I can ship you some United Airlines first class China service. I hope that you're offering that to Baneybo, because I sure as heck don't want it. And, hold on, Picola T, my roommate and I brought our own chairs on the city bus, got a chuckle from the driver. We had to furnish our own apartment, but didn't have a car. And Baneybo is bragging, I have a bottle of Indian rum coming, my grandma's friend bringing it over to me. Kevin Stokes, oh, but this isn't my real name. Right, there we go. All right. And Puzzy, I still have ashtrays and towels from the Holiday Inn. And I got a little tray from British Airlines at the thrift store. Nice. Now, Beatty Boat, you have a bottle of Indian rum, huh? Now, is India known for its rum? Because in America, that's not where we get our rum. We get our rum from the Caribbean. And so is India known for its rum? And, you sent Beatty Boat a bottle of Bullet Frontier from Amazon the other day. I'm not a whiskey drinker, so I cannot say, but from what I understand, Bullet is very nice. My dad liked it a lot. My sister liked it a lot. My dad, I don't think he met a whiskey he ever didn't like, but my sister confirmed this one was good. So, so there you go. My dad definitely did not ever meet a bottle of whiskey he didn't like. Let's see here. Did I miss anybody coming in just in case I feel like I might have? Alright, cool. I don't think I did. Let's see here. India makes its own whiskey and wine. That whiskey is pretty tasty. Okay. It makes sense, I guess. They are a huge country after all, and why wouldn't they make their own booze? But Bullet has a nice butterscotch aftertaste. And Pussycat, I have a nice bottle of Hannah Bay rum. Right. I want to, next time I'm on Oahu, by the way, y'all, August 16th, Oahu, Waianae, Lono. Next time I'm on Oahu, I want to go to their rum distillery. I was going to say their rum factory, but I don't think it's called that. I think it's a distillery. They grow their own cane sugar. They grow their own cane for the sugar for the rum on the island. And they have as part of the tour, there's like a tasting package or whatever. And when I went to Oahu a couple years ago, Option and his wife were telling me about it. And his wife was just like, oh, dude, and Option didn't drink, so his wife could. And she was like, oh, dude, it's the best. You get so drunk, blah, blah, blah. And so I would love to get whoever happens to be on Oahu at the same time as I am and go to that rum tasting tour so we can just get stupid. And it won't just be me hungover the next day. And Beatty, I have a whole ass cupboard full of liquor. You should have seen Terry's reaction. I used to have a big cupboard full of liquor, but I slowly gave it all away because the bottles were just getting so dusty and in my way, and I wasn't drinking it, so meh. And Pinnell, I grew up drinking Canadian Club and ginger ale or Coke. Honestly, Pinnell, Canadian Club and Canadian Mist are my two favorite whiskeys. They're so mild, and if you're making if I'm making a hot toddy, it is my preferred whiskey of choice. Hot water, that whiskey, some honey, and some lemon, and I will be very, very happy. I don't know why I like the Canadian whiskeys best, but I do. I guess it's milder or something. So I approve of the way you grew up, Pinnell. Not that it matters if I approve. And plus, ginger ale? Who doesn't love ginger ale? And Bacola tea, I can have all your samples? Yay! That's what I want to hear. And yeah, CC, Canadian Club, you got it. And I would have taken your liquor any day. Yeah, Beatty Bo, it's funny. It was not a difficult, it was definitely not a difficult collection to get rid of. Let me just tell you right now. Even the cheapest of bourbons were taken wholeheartedly, readily, quickly, and availably. So, you were in it for the thievery, but I don't drink much, can't contribute here. And Beatty Bo, I should try Di Serono. It's so good. It's an almond liqueur. I know what it is, Beatty Bo, and it is abso-flippin'-lutely horrific. I do not like almond flavored anything. I don't like almond extract. I don't like almond liqueurs. The Di Serono, not so good. And did you know only scotches can be spelled whiskey? All other countries spell it with an EY. Terry, yes, I did know that. That being said, I've seen other countries spell it without the E as well. Just the other day I saw it. It caught my eye. I noticed. I was like, that's weird and not right. I want to say like Nepal or something, like it's some rando, but like there is another country that apparently uses the Scotsman's version of whiskey, but other than that, or that whatever I was looking at was wrong. But otherwise, yeah, you're totally right. Whiskey, every place else is Key, but without the E, it's the Scotch whiskey. And that's supposed to be illegal. Well, you know, things still happen that are illegal. I recall this woman at an Ozzy Osbourne show who was giving away free beers to the people who were going home after beer sales ended. I reckon that was illegal too. But we are 1 minute past our Lono listening break, y'all. So let's take a Lono listening break where he talks of my pet. Boop.
Cool pete or my pet. Cool pete or my
Alrighty, there we go. Sorry, that transition was less than stellar. Anyway, My Pet Kupete is that song found on Old Style 1. And if you want the lyrics and the translation of the lyrics, you can find that on lonamusic.com. By the way, lonamusic.com is back up and running. I mentioned to him a few days ago that it was out, and apparently some plug got unplugged and needed to be plugged in. So the plug-in was plugged in, and everything came back to life quick like a bunny like that. So if you are wanting to go to lonamusic.com, you can now. And yes, exactly. You're going to be on that midnight train, Terry from Scotland, or Terry in Scotland. It sounds like it's going to be a pain in the arse to get there and back. I hope that the train ride's not an hour and a half. Okay, so you'll be getting home. Well, that'll be a long day, dude. You probably will be ready to go home and go night-night and not be able to. It'll be like a 24-hour day for you, practically. I won't be surprised if we don't see you streaming tomorrow, just because of, you need to get some sleeps in. And speaking of streaming tomorrow or the next day or the day after that, Saturday we are going to have a movie at the usual Secret Squirrel Cinema spot. That would be Map Statter. Oh, dang it. Map Statter on Twitch. And that'll be 6 p.m. It's going to be The Princess Bride. And then Sunday, there's not going to be any stream for the Chatter Show. I have a memorial, a wake to go to, and I'm not quite sure how long that's going to be. So I have no idea if I'll even be home in time to do the stream. So let's see here. Sounder's channel is Map Statter, and she streams every Sunday. Every Sunday in the UK, every Saturday in the United States. Depends on where the time zone flips, my friend. But yes, Sundays in the UK, Saturdays in the USA, and sometime in between for all of you in the water. And let's see here. Oh, that's right. It looks like Pinnell had a birthday the last day or two. So happy birthday to you, Pinnell. And Kevin Stokes, you love The Princess Bride. Well, it is The Princess Bride this Saturday. I don't know really what inspired me for it. I just, actually, that's not true. I got to thinking about how awesome it is when left-handers get to surprise people that they're left-handed. And there's a scene in that movie. If you've seen it, you'll know the scene I'm talking about. And if you haven't, well, you'll see it. And, a left-hander or more switches up and, changes things up. And correct, Puzzycat, no Luke tonight. He already had his show. And let's see here. I do the pop better than Donkey in Shrek 2. I haven't seen... I don't think I've seen either Shrek, actually, now that I think about it. I do know who the donkey is. I did not know that he has a little pop noise that he tries to do, but it is harder than you might imagine, as you've seen me do attempt after attempt to get that good pop. See? All right. Yep, there we go. We're not gonna do pop anymore. And exactly, left-handed, inconceivable. And Babybo, how's Too Good To Go doing with me? I haven't been buying anything from Too Good To Go recently because I have been pretty much eating solely off of meal service, meal subscription kits. I had Factor for 4 or 5 weeks. I had Hello Fresh for I think 3 weeks. Right now I'm using Cook Unity. Cook Unity, I have to say, has the best food of all of them. Cook Unity, so far I've eaten I've eaten 5 of my 8 meals from Cook Unity, and only one of them was like, oh, I'm really gonna have to struggle to finish this. All of the other ones have been just like, oh, dude, I could eat this again and again. So I'm pretty excited about Cook Unity. They seem to be the highest quality. That being said, I am going to be stopping them because ultimately I'm acting like I've got money and I'm spending money like I've got money, and I don't really have that kind of money. So I'm going to have to start cooking for myself again. But I will be trying Too Good To Go soon because there are quite a few new locations that they've added. I have been watching the Too Good To Go options in my area, and they have been expanding. So I'm super stoked about that. And for those of you who don't know what Too Good To Go is, it's an app on your phone that you can set for X number of miles away from your location, and there are restaurants, bakeries, grocery stores, donut shops, etc. that sell their product at a discounted rate, usually like at the end of the day when, you know, you can get like at this one donut shop at between 4:45 and 5 o'clock, you can get, you know, $36 worth of donuts for $5. And so now you don't get to choose them. They're all like surprise bags and things like that. But they're really, really, really discounted products that they basically would throw away if they didn't sell them at the reduced price. And so, Pinnell, yeah, it seems to be just bakeries near you. Yeah, a lot of bakeries are definitely in on it, which makes sense because baked goods go bad so fast. And it's just like, well, you know, we're going to have to throw them away if we, why? Yeah. And let's see here. Too Good To Go lists Whole Foods packages on Oahu, but they're always sold out in a flash. Correct, actually, and they do that here in Seattle, and I'm assuming anywhere there's a Whole Foods, because I've heard this about Whole Foods, that Whole Foods does do, like, they do a bag of food from Whole Foods for like $15, but they guarantee that it's like $45 worth of food, you know, and it's not always bread, from what I understand. Like, it's a good mix of things. It's bread, cheese, meat, vegetable. So I haven't tried one of those yet, but that is on my list to try because I don't have a Whole Foods in Burien, but I do have a Whole Foods that's near where I work, and so I can one day just pick it up there if like Picolati says, if I catch it when it's still up for grabs, because they totally go like boom boom boom. And oh, okay, Picolati, they have both bakery and grocery bags up to $9. Right, yeah. So so it sounds like it's a really good deal. From everybody that I've known that's gotten them says that they're really worth the money. And one baker was giving away bread to food bank users once. Yeah, that makes sense. That totally makes sense. Sorry about that. Someone was calling me and it said it was a telemarketer. And by the way, to go up a little bit for what Picolati said, that is correct. Costco has switched from Coca-Cola to Pepsi. I'm sure it will upset a lot of people. It doesn't really upset me. For a couple reasons. First off, I don't drink soda anymore. Second off, I don't go to Costco. Third off, I kind of like Pepsi better than Coke anyway. And your Costco's always used Pepsi. Oh, well, wait, maybe I went backwards. Hold on. Picolati. Oh, I went backwards. Useless news. Costco food court has switched from Pepsi to Coca-Cola. There we go. So yeah, nope, switched it. Got it backwards. Either way, I don't really care because I don't drink soda that much anymore. And let's see here. Oh, awesome, Baby Bo. Molly, was funny because I went to the bakery today and bought myself a pie, and the woman said, would you like a bunch of hot pies free of charge? And they gave me like 10 for free. Baby Bo, I love it when that happens to me. I mean, I'm not saying I've ever had anyone give me all these pies, but what is so awesome is when, because I'm going to assume that they recognized you as a local, they recognized you as a regular, probably. And I totally love it when you go into a store or restaurant or something, they're like, ooh, we know you. We gonna give you something special. always helps to be personable and talkative and friendly to the people behind the counter, because sometimes you might get 10 free hot pies. And Beatty Bo is proof of that. And let's see here, Terry, as per Donnie John's request, Coca-Cola is set to reintroduce real cocaine in Coke. Donnie Jr. just says it's better. Yeah, I don't think that's what's going to happen. I just think that that's all about the real sugar. And quite honestly, y'all, I think people are going to lose their minds, because corn syrup and sugar do taste different. And I don't believe that people actually think that Mexican Coke tastes better. Mexican Coke tastes better because it's in a glass bottle. That's all. Everyone prefers to drink Coca-Cola out of the original, traditional glass bottle. Mexican Coke comes in that bottle. American Coke doesn't. The experience of drinking Coca-Cola outside of anything other than that glass bottle is not as superior as that glass bottle. It's not what's in that glass bottle that matters. It's the glass bottle for the Coca-Cola itself. I have a feeling that once sugar is reintroduced into the Coca-Colas that come in our plastic bottles and our aluminum cans, people are not going to be as happy as they thought they were. They're not going to like it as much as they thought they were. They're not. That's what I think. And I don't know, I'll bet you like a nickel. And let's see here. The one that's here picks up veggies from farms that are ugly. Yeah, ugly vegetables, it's so ridiculous how many vegetables are ugly and just not sold because of that. And let's see here, Picola Tea. I was honest at Costco's food court today when the cashier tried to give me a second hot dog for free. I admitted she already handed it to me. Will that honestly keep you out of hell? Nah, probably not. But you know what, Picola Tea? Do you really want to be kept out of hell? Come on. You go to hell for the company. You go to heaven for the weather. You want the good company, right? Right. And milk tastes better from a glass bottle. Ask Bandy Bo. Exactly. And Bandy Bo's saying that the UK has a glass option available. That's crazy. I wish that we had that here. And Mama Sean, yeah, it does taste different. The water and the sugar are different. Yeah, exactly. And to tell you the truth, I don't like the Mexican Coke because I don't think it has anything to do with the water, or excuse me, the sugar. I think it has to do with the water that they use, because I can tell different sodas bottled in different bottling plants across the country all have a slightly different flavor. And from what I understand, Hawaii has some of the best tasting soda because the water they use is some of the purest. And in the Pacific Northwest, ours tastes very different than whatever they use in Texas for their Pepsi products. And so I think I feel like this whole switching to sugar thing, I mean, it's a cute PR move, but I actually think it's going to come back and bite Coke in the okole. But, you know, we'll see. We will see. And if I finish up in heaven, somebody made a mistake, I'll be requesting a transfer. Yeah, actually, I saw a cute little, cartoon or whatever where Ozzy ended up, at the pearly gates or whatever. And Ozzy's like, how did I get here? Wait, how did I get here? I thought it was kind of cute. And let's see here. Terry's saying, or Benny's saying that you found Reese's peanut butter cups today, but they have Reese's Pieces inside the cup. Oh yeah, we've had those out here in the States for a while now. Candy within the candy. Yeah. Yeah, we've been doing that for a minute here. But though, talking about Coke and its new, it's gonna get sugar again. I will tell you what, y'all. I would probably prefer to drink that than what I just drank today. And I drank this I took a sip during our Lono listening break, and I kind of wish, I took my first and only sip during the Lono listening break, and I kind of wish I had waited for you guys so you could see me trying this, but I didn't really think it was going to turn into what it turned into. So anyway, I got, in one of my meal service order things, they sent me this free soda called, it's called Popwell. I don't know if I don't know how popular, or god dang it. Wow, yeah. I don't know how popular, there we go. I don't know how popular this is around the country. I don't know if this is a brand new thing. I don't know. But what I do know is there's only 16 grams of sugar in an entire can of this soda, which for a can of soda, that's about half. So that's not so bad. And I ran out of both my Liquid Death and my LaCroix today. So this was the only fizzy beverage in my fridge other than beer, and I didn't want beer. So I grabbed it because I'm thirsty. So I opened it and then I drank it. Now this is a lime blackberry flavor, and I drank I drank it because it tasted good. So I'm gonna drink it again. Oh yeah, that tastes good. Oh god, no it doesn't. That's exactly what happened the last time. Nope. It tastes good, and then this is not a paid sponsorship. So you know. Can you tell? This is foul. It tastes really good on your tongue, but the aftertaste is just like, I don't know, it's sticky, it's horrific. And yeah, Poppy is pretty tasty. It's another healthy soda, but kind of pricey. I've had Poppy. Poppy is really good, and it's super expensive. And yes, Shock, it has stevia in it, and it is the stevia that is making me go, cannot. Now, after I did the whole, yeah, I'm not a fan these days. I think until now I had not formed an opinion on stevia, but I have one now. And so, y'all, the ingredients is carbonated water, soluble corn fiber. That's the second ingredient. Fruit juices, a whole bunch of weird stuff. Beet powder, mushroom glycolipids, probably. Mushrooms and corn are in this. I don't know. I cannot answer that, Picola T. What I can say is soluble corn fiber was the second ingredient after carbonated water. And tastes good on the tongue. I don't know how to finish. I don't know how to finish that t-shirt. And stevia wonder. Yeah, no, stevia, I do not wonder about stevia anymore, and because it's gross. And Mama Sean, as it turns out, I can't do any of the fake sugars either. I have never really spent much time taste testing them, and so I never got around to seeing, do I like stevia or not? Today I found out I do not like stevia at all. So, yeah. But speaking of people who don't like things, there's this house in Seattle. It's called the Spite House. Have you, and when I say that it's a Spite House in Seattle, you might be thinking of the house that the movie Up was written about, or not about, but was inspired the movie Up. A tiny little house that the owner wouldn't sell, and so a huge shopping center was built around it, except for the tiny little lot that she lived in. That's not the Spite House that I'm talking about. That Spite House still exists, but it's dilapidated. This Spite House has been a Spite House for the last 100 years, I think. And yeah, it's worth almost $1 million. even though it's only 55 inches wide at one point. So here, let's look at this Spite House that we've got in Seattle. Because this lady, she didn't like her husband, her ex-husband, about as much as I don't like stevia.
Well, one of the most historic homes in Seattle is back on the market. The Spite House in the Montlake neighborhood could be yours for just $799,000, but it's small. It's real small, just 15 feet wide on one side and just 55 inches on the other. Home has been around for 100 years now and has a little urban legend to it.
It tells us that the house behind us, husband and wife were married, they got in a divorce, it was a little bitter, and so they were fighting over the property. And the husband said, hey, you know what? I will give you that front half of the lot. And she was like, what am I going to do with that? And here you have it. She built the Spite House on it, despite her husband.
Built this house to block out the views from his house, and therefore they call it the Montlake Spite House.
According to Bushwick Real Estate, the main floor offers a living room, bedroom, bath, and kitchen. The lower level has a family room, bedroom, laundry, bath, and separate entrance. But
it is unique in many ways, one that is only 860 square feet total, so 430 square feet up, 430 square feet down. Also, you can only get from the downstairs to the upstairs through the outside, so there's no internal staircase as well, which is unfortunate if you want to use that space when it's pouring rain, but excellent if you want to be able to rent out the lower level. Would make a great Airbnb, easy access to Husky Stadium for games and all that kind of stuff.
we are told several people have already expressed interest, but no offers just yet. And Adam, you're telling me this house has been on the market many times over the last several years.
And I'm looking at Zillow right now, and it says the price history, there is no history. I'm like, that's not true. I used to live down the street from that thing. That thing went up for sale a number of times. Anyway.
Well, one of the most historic homes in Seattle.
So there you have it. Which means even I, short as can be, cannot sleep crosswise in that house. Well, only at that one end at that house, because it's 15 feet wide. It's sort of, pie shaped or triangle shaped. So at one end, it's 15 feet wide. At the other end, it's like, 55 inches wide. But 2 floors, 860 square feet, 2 different entrances, no stairs between the 2 floors on the inside, and it's still, $765,000? Now, granted, the Montlake Cut area of Seattle is for certain one of the more expensive places to live in Seattle, as it is on the north end, but still, my goodness, that's just a little... If you have that much money, you really should be able to, use both floors of your house without going outside. That's all I'm saying. And the Scottish Highlands and Islands Trust had a lottery with about 100 winners who received £50,000 and a house on a few acres. Wow, nice. That's beautiful. And, let's see here. Liquid Death is discontinued in the UK now, and a pack of 12 cans is 99 pence. That's a beautiful deal if you like Liquid Death. I don't like most of their flavors, though. I just use the plain sparkling water. All the other flavors are just not my bag. I prefer... Well, first off, the other flavors have... I don't know if it's added sugars or if it's fake sugars, but they do have sweeteners in them, and I don't really like the flavored ones. But the plain one is really... I think it's one of the best fizzy plain waters in the world ever. Yeah, so there you go. And Shock, you could put a fire pole and work on your fitness. Yeah, I guess you could. And Shock, I dislike the Pepsi aftertaste, but I love me some Diet Dr. Pepper. I don't like Diet Dr. Pepper so much anymore, but I will admit it is a good diet soda. I think that what is it? Canada Dry Ginger Ale. Diet Canada Dry Ginger Ale, to me, is the best diet soda because it tastes almost identical to the regular. But the next one in line would definitely be Diet Dr. Pepper. Because, like Diet Coke, that doesn't taste like Coke at all. Diet Coke tastes like Diet Coke. And Diet Coke might as well be orange soda to a regular Coke. It's just very different. It's a different animal. Whereas Diet Dr. Pepper, it's like, oh yeah, I can see what you were doing with that. That sort of tastes like what you were going for. And shock, I hate ginger ale normally, but I do like the Canada Dry Diet Ginger Ale. Fair enough. And you're not liking ginger ale actually isn't that big of a surprise because there's a lot of versions. I don't like Schweppes ginger ale. Schweppes ginger ale to me is gross. And then, don't even get me started on ginger brews or ginger beers because those are way too strong for my piddly little mouth. I love the pretend, doesn't really contain much ginger ale that is Canada Dry. It is my pretend champagne, and I drink it when I'm on an airplane. Even though I'm 50 some odd years old, I still drink pretend champagne on an airplane to be fancy. Since I was a little kid, I always drank pretend champagne to be fancy, and I still do. Even though I could get the real stuff, I don't want the real stuff. I want ginger ale. And aspartame is bad for your heart, big time though. Oh, for certain, which is why I rather just drink the sparkling waters with no fake sugar, nothing. And honestly, given the choice, you've got this choice between Coke with corn syrup in it or a Coke with aspartame in it. I would choose the Coke with corn syrup. I would rather drink a sugared pop than a diet pop for reasons of chemical. And I'm also lucky enough not to have diabetes in my system, so I can make that choice. I understand that lots of people don't have that flexibility in their choice when it comes to how to what drink they gonna drink. You know what I'm saying? And Shock, you're taking the aspartame. Yeah, lots and lots of people do. Most people do. And is it aspartame? That's in Diet Coke, and sucralose is in Coke Zero, right? Or am I getting those confused? Because whatever's in Coke Zero absolutely tastes way more like Coke than Diet Coke tastes like Coke. And President's Choice flavored sparkling water is pretty good. Right on. I don't remember what President's Choice is. What? Isn't that like Target's brand or something? President's Choice. That's a store brand. What store though? Can you tell me, Pinnell? And I do sparkling water too, says Mama Sean. Yeah, totally. And Baby Bo, the only ginger ale we have over here is Schweppes, but it's different over here than over there, but we only use it as a mixture for alcohol here. Yeah, and it's funny you should mention that, Baby Bo, because yes, the Schweppes that you guys have over there is very different, and that is exactly where I learned that not all ginger ales are created the same. It was when I was in the UK, and I was bummed to find that they didn't have Canada Dry, although I realized why they didn't, because I wasn't in Canada or near Canada. So I got the Schweppes thinking it would be remotely similar, and it was not at all. No. And Terry's coming in. Common sugar substitutes include aspartame, monk fruit extract, saccharin, sucralose, stevia, asulfame, potassium, we'll just call that ACE-K, and cyclamate. These sweeteners are a fundamental ingredient in diet drinks to sweeten them without adding calories. Additionally, sugar alcohols such as erythritol, xylitol, and sorbitol are derived from sugars. That is true, and all of those sugar alcohols, they're starting to realize, are very bad for the heart as well. But I think, though, it's sucralose in Coke Zero and aspartame in Diet Coke. And I think the perceived danger of heart complications from diet drinks is based on the fact that people at healthy weights don't drink diet sodas. That could be, yeah, that also could absolutely be a factor as well, for sure. Although I'm sure they try to deviate from the mean by adjusting the base to correlate the correspondence with the circumference of the primary data distribution network. If that made sense, that was not, I don't know what I just said. I'm pretty sure that was a bunch of nonsense, but if that actually made sense, who knew? I didn't. And let's see here. I can tell you personally that I was drinking diet sodas and my heart condition flared really bad, and once I quit, the diet sodas improved. Yeah, totally. And no, I did not like the UK Schweppes ginger ale Banny Bo at all. It is it is very strong. The ginger ale in the UK, the Schweppes ginger ale that I had in the UK was very strongly ginger flavored. Canada Dry ginger ale is not. And so if somebody who really likes the flavor of ginger would look at Canada Dry like, why are you bothering, you stupid Sprite imitator? They would just be like, that's not ginger ale. Whereas I prefer ginger ale that's not ginger ale. Like, I prefer beer that's more like water. I prefer ginger ale that's more water. And ginger beer is extremely foul, exactly. And Kevin Stokes, whatever the hell you said, would be in very fine print on a t-shirt. Exactly. Whatever it was that I said was definitely something that you'd find in the fine print. And Picola Tea loves sipping on ginger teas, but not fond of ginger sodas. Go figure. Yeah, and it's kind of ironic because ginger apparently is good for your digestion and everything, but for me, I actually took a sip of a ginger beer once, or it wasn't a ginger beer, I guess it was a ginger brew. It wasn't alcoholic, but it was a very strong version of ginger ale, and I took one sip and it was too strong for me, so I said, no, I don't want that. Dude, I had the worst heartburn for hours later on. I don't know why the ginger decided to kill me, but even though it's for digestion, it's given me some of the worst heartburn I've ever had in my life. I'm pretty sure I'm the only one in the world who had that, but it is what it is. And let's see here. All right, so we've got one more little thing that we could talk about here. Let's see though. Hold on. Boop. There we go. So, oh really? Oh, we don't have to talk about this. You can't have sweet potatoes, Shock? I can't have sweet potatoes because I think they're gross. Do you get heartburn or something from the sweet taters? Because sweet taters are supposed to be, glycemically not that bad, and they're all fiberful and everything. They make you feel like if you're unhealthy, you need to eat a sweet tater, and I'm just like, I don't want it. It's the FODMAPs. I don't really know what FODMAP means. I just know it's something to do with how you eat, or what you shouldn't eat, or what you should eat. Let's see here. Ginger tea and ginger candies do settle your tummy, but the ginger sodas taste awful to me. I had a bit of ginger tea to my fruit iced tea. Oh, okay. And so it's the FODMAPs and fructo oligosaccharides. Sugar, oil, oil sugars? I don't know what that means. And sweet potatoes are considered good for diabetics since they release their glucose gradually. Yeah, that's what I've always been under that impression. And it's my microbiome, says Shock. You have to watch it with garlic as well. Got it. Yeah, I used to have a problem with garlic. I somehow outgrew that, but when I did have a problem, it was debilitating. And it wouldn't even have to be a lot of garlic. It would send me into cramps and awfulness for hours and hours and hours. I've actually remember ruining a very lovely night because I made the mistake of eating a piece of garlic bread at a pizza place, and yep, everything after that kind of went to hell in a handbasket. And look up the FODMAP diets, and there will be all kinds of suggestions, but some kinds of starches kill me, and I can tolerate other ones. I don't know what that means. Yeah, actually, that is a good t-shirt. You know why? Because a lot of people don't acknowledge that they don't know what that means. And really, I think that everybody should be freed of their fear of being deemed ignorant. And if you don't understand, like, fully admit, I don't understand. You know, I don't know what that means. Like, speak up. If you don't know what it means, you don't know what it means. Or like a friend of mine, she and I got into a little bit of an argument about redlining and the history of redlining in the United States. And if you don't know what redlining is, it's a practice that happened in the early 20th century where banks specifically would not give loans to black people in certain neighborhoods, but if the black people wanted a loan for a house in the proper neighborhood that the bank thought they should be in, they would give loans. And so basically they would redline entire districts of like, no, we're not going to lend there. No, we're not going to lend. It was corrupt banking, prejudicial banking. But she thought redlining meant gerrymandering, political gerrymandering for votes. So we were arguing about two very different things, and so finally she was like, I don't think I know what you mean when you say redlining. And as it turned out, she did not. And so, we had to figure out what we were both talking about. And so I don't know what that means. I think that's a really great t-shirt. And let's see here. Maybe it's raw versus cooked garlic that does that. Picola tea, when I was going through my garlic thing, that definitely was a fact that they said that could be a factor. But for me, I don't think it was a factor. Like, even garlic salt was too much for my system to handle. And Terry in Scotland, no, that was the problem. I wasn't. But boy, every fiber in my body wanted to. The pressure, the gut pressure, I felt like I had gas building up underneath my skin. It was like the pain from the gas in my body was in my stomach, in my knees, in my arms. I wish that I was profusely releasing the gases that would have made everybody else around me miserable, but it would have been a really lovely thing for my body. That was what the problem was. Actually, what made the night so bad was I literally had to go excuse myself to go lay down in the backseat of my car while everybody else was rocking out at the Super Sucker show. And I had people in from out of town for this event, staying at my house from San Francisco. It was a huge. And one piece of garlic bread threw me off for the whole night. And a strategically inserted straw I don't know, man. I think a punch in the gut would have probably helped. And you have a hiatal hernia too, so when I get gassy like that, your heart's racing under the pressure. Right, it's just... Bleh. And Picola tea, have y'all heard about after dinner fart walks? Supposed to be good for health and digestion? No, I haven't. And we are 1 minute to the bottom of the hour, so we don't really have time for this story, but I'm going to tell it anyway. My best friend in high school, his dad swore he was having a heart attack. Was rushed to the hospital. They gave him all the tests. Nothing was coming back, and he was still in pain. It was a problem. Finally, this one nurse was like, you know what, Mr. Olander, you've been here for a while. We need to walk you around the unit because you've been laying in the bed for a while. And so they started walking, and because the nurse, I think, finally figured out what was going on, or suspected that perhaps it was just. And so the more he got moving, the more he got walking. Little fart here, little fart there, huge fart, another huge fart. farting. And until finally he was like, oh, I feel all better now. And she was just like, yeah, I thought that might be the case. So yeah, he was in so much pain, he thought he was having a heart attack. But really, he just needed to fart. So remember, next time you're having a heart attack, maybe you just need to fart. Worst medical advice ever. If you think you're having a heart attack, please call an ambulance. Get to the hospital. I mean, maybe you have to fart. Let's hope that's all it is, but let's not assume that that's what it is, shall we? All right, so, yes, it gives new meaning to the phrase old fart. Exactly. All right, you guys, so this was not a classy show at all. This is not a classy show. And so I'm so glad that all y'all hung out with all of us unclassy people, talking about our little blowholes, and hopefully we will have a, Tareen tells me not to fart too near her. Yes, exactly. So hopefully next show, which will be next Wednesday, so we're not gonna see each other for a whole week, chattering that is. Hopefully we'll be much classier. We'll be a classier act. We're gonna drink our tea with our pinkies up. Okay? But we might see each other Saturday, 6 p.m. West Coast time for Princess Bride. And we might also see each other Tuesday, 6:30 p.m. West Coast time for Andy Boomatai's show next week. And I hope that's the case. All right, we're 2 minutes past the bottom of the hour, which means we're late. All right, have a good one. See you soon.